everyone, welcome back. So now we are in week 3 of Voyage 13 Part C, and next week should be the last week of this voyage. So we start off by trying to accomplish paying off $2,425.13, and that is made up of a target bill for $225.13, and then the remaining Discover 2 for $2,200. And then we have 3 whales joining us on week 3 of this journey. So how's everyone's week going? I think we're almost done with this hot weather. It's getting pretty close. And I also did do a dentist appointment on Tuesday, so there probably will be some more dental items that will start appearing in my voyages a little bit later on. So we'll go ahead and jump into what the numbers have been up to. So we start off by having a payroll check going into checking on September 12th. It was for $1,044.11. And then we put the $44.11 to savings, leaving $1,000 in checking. We applied $140 to line of credit 1, and that's to be towards the bills. Line of credit 2 received $560, and that's the voyage funds. And then line of credit 3 received $200, and that's set aside for the mortgage payments. Now we're down to $100 in checking. We then sent loan 1 $50, bringing it down to $50. And the final $50 we went ahead and applied to our savings account. So then we look into what happened in the savings account. We started off with $924.87. We had that payroll payment of $44.11, giving it $968.98. Then that final $50 from that payroll from September 12th for $50 was applied for $1,018.98. And then we did payment number 3 for Target for $56.25. So currently savings has $1,075.23. And then with loan 1, we did a payment of $50, and we start off with $8,625.03. We paid $9.10 of interest. Principal was $40.90, and then we ended that loan balance at $8,584.13. We then look at the lines of credit 1, 2, and 3. And currently we'll start off with line of credit 1 for the bills. We ended that with a balance of $11,944.81, so $55.19 is what's available. We have been sending $140 weekly towards that. And then on October 1st, $116.23 is due on that. And then we look at line of credit 2, which is set aside for the credit card / the voyage, and so we're doing the payment parking in there. We now have a balance of $12,403.67. Available is $96.33. Weekly payments is $560. And then on October 1st, $96.45 is due. And then this balance increased because we did take funds out to send to Discover 2 since we're getting really close to being done with that voyage. Line of credit 3 set aside for the mortgage is at $11,636.70. Available is now $863.30. We do send weekly payments of $200 towards that. And then on October 1st, $112.41 is what's due. So then when we combine all 3 of these lines of credit, we come up with the balance of $35,985.18. Available is $1,014.82. Weekly is $900. And then due on October 1st is $325.09 for all 3 combined. I think what I'll do is maybe start doing like an end of the month comparison just to verify that we're actually making progress on all these lines, and because we might have to update what we're doing if we're not making monthly progress on that. Like at the end of each month we should be able to have smaller balances, and right now I did take funds out for that line of credit too because of that Discover 2 being really close to being due. So we'll break that down to what's happened in each line. So that line of credit 1, the payment monthly is $116.23. It's at 7.5, and that's set aside for bills. So we did that payment of, excuse me, 140 to that, which 1704 went to interest and 122.96 went to principal. We then paid student loans for 162.67, and then we did that target payment number 3 for 56.25, and that gave us that balance of $11,944.81, and available is $55.19. The line of credit 2 has a monthly payment of $96.45 at 6.74, and that's for credit card / the Voyage. So when we sent the $560, we had $14.73 went to interest, and that $545.27 went to principal. We then took out $1,550 and sent to Discover 2, and that gives us a balance of $12,403.67. So currently there's $96.33 available on that line. And then we look at line of credit 3. That has a monthly payment of $112.41. It's at 7.5% interest, and that's set aside for the mortgage. We do weekly payments of $200, and that $200, we had $17 for interest and $183 for principal. So the balance is $11,636.70, and currently there is $863.30 that's available in that line. We then look at Voyage 13C, and once again we had started off at $4,500, and then we sent $2,300 from line of credit 2, and then once again we sent out everything available. So now there's just $550 that is left to be due on Discover 2, and that $550 for week 3 we went ahead and sent that directly to that Discover 2. So now there's just $550 that needs to be paid off next week in week 4. And then the target, we took the loan out of savings, and we did 3 payments of, actually, 3 payments of $56.25, and then we also had that 13 cents. So now we have $56.25 is what's due on target, and that will be paid off next week as well. So this week we paid off $606.25, and then we still have that $606.25 due for the very last final payments for week 4. And then this shows just a combined captain's log of voyages 1 through 13B. So as of this one, we had, at the end of 13B, we paid off $61,869.87. So then we broke down the part C. Probably should have Voyage 13 part C. So the week 3, we ended up paying $606.25, and then we have $606.25 due. So when you combine that with what had been paid off so far, that's $61,869.87, we currently have $63,688.75 that has been paid off in total for the voyages. We then go to credit available. We're almost done with that Discover 2. Then we're phasing that out. So currently we owe $550 on that. So the balance is at $550. So we're just going to put nothing available since we're going to phase that line out. And then I don't think anything changed on the Visa or the Citibank. We did have a change on Discover 1 where our limit went from $20,000 to $22,000. And then we had $7,822 as a balance. So available on that is $14,178. So our combined totals for the limit is $50,550. The balance is at $22,497.12, and available is $28,052.88. And then the only thing we did this week was we sent $1,550 to Discover 2, and that came out of line of credit 2. I think that's the only bill that got paid this week. And then we did have some student loan payments, since that's a monthly thing we updated our student loans. So we start off student loan A being at $5,828.83. We paid $22.25 of interest, and that meant $76.76 went to principal. So now we currently owe $5,752.07 on student loan A. We also did a payment to student loan B, where we start off at $3,668.87. We did pay $14.01 of interest. Principal was $49.65. So now currently on student loan B, we're at $3,619.22. And then I also added that loan 1. So for the month of September, we were at $8,820.22. And for September, we did $46.29 of interest, with $144.99 going to principal. And then we ended September at $8,665.89. And then the mortgage was, we started off $47,822.75. Interest for September was $138.97, and principal is $177.16. So we ended September as $47,468.94 is that balance. And I think that might, yeah, it looks like that's all for our paperwork. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Put those down below, and please like and subscribe to follow my debt journey. And I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.